Hi, my name is Mercedes McDaniel, and this is my final project for leadership class. I'm very excited to present to you my three most important leadership maxims that I've come up with over the course of this semester. I've been very excited to talk about these three important leadership maxims because they're very personal to me. Not only are they personal to me in my professional work life, but also in my personal life as well. And I want to use what I've learned over the course of this semester to apply it on a daily basis to my professional life, my personal relationships, my work relationships, my daily mantras that I tell myself. I want to use these maxims to help me get out of bed and accomplish something and be successful and do my best every single day that I get up and go to work or do whatever. So, yeah, let's jump right into it. So, within the first module, of course, we came up with several maxims, and for me, I chose my most important maxim as dance in the rain. Now, this is probably a saying that you've heard before, probably many times before. So, what makes it so important and so personal to me? Well, dance in the rain, if you can't already guess, it means to take the bad and try to make something good out of it. Now, of course, this would make sense in your personal life because everybody has bad things happen to them, right? And it's always better to try and have a positive outlook and to try to create a positive outcome, even if something bad is happening in your life. But not only can you do this with your personal life, you can do it in your professional life as well. So let's take an example of, something that happened to me a couple years ago when I was working at Subway. It was a really bad day. It was really busy, and we were kind of getting backed up on orders, and I was new, and I didn't really know what was going on. I felt extremely overwhelmed. My coworkers were getting a little bit irritated at me because I couldn't really keep up with the work. And just overall, it was just a bad day and kind of a bad situation. So it was raining, right? Now, what I could have done is I could have gotten upset. I could have cried. I could have given up. I could have left, whatever. But instead, I said, okay, maybe I can take this bad thing that's happening and I can turn it into something good. So I tried to use it as a learning experience or as a challenge, really. I said, I wonder if I can take all of this really stressful, overwhelming work that's happening right now. I wonder if I can take that and do my best to try and get it done as quickly and as efficiently as possible. And it was stressful and it was overwhelming, but since I kind of had a positive outlook about it, it turned into something fun and something kind of useful instead of something bad and just unenjoyable. So that's what I mean when I say dance in the rain. Bad things are going to happen. Bad things always happen. You've got to take the bad and you've got to take it with the good, and you've got to just find as much good stuff in the bad as you can. So yeah, that's my first most important leadership maxim. So my second one, and I'm really proud of this one. My second one I call root for their home team. So I came up with this after going through module 2. I was thinking about an experience I had with a coworker at my new job. So there's a guy there, his name is Josh, and he's a really big sports fan, right? So he watches football. He's a big fan of the New England Patriots. Okay, so I don't watch football. I don't watch sports at all. It's not really my thing. But I overheard him talking with another coworker, and I overheard them talking about the games together. And so I came in to work the next day and I was like, hey, Josh, how'd that game go last night? I didn't watch it, but, just how'd it go? And he was kind of laughing. He was like, you didn't watch it? I mean, it went well, but, like, why do you care if you don't watch it? And I was like, I don't know. I just wanted to know how it went. Tell me what's going on. What's up? And he thought it was kind of funny. And we ended up talking about it. And I actually ended up learning a little bit about football talking to him. And this is how we started a more friendly relationship at work. And by friendly, I just mean beyond saying, hey, how are you in the mornings? Now we actually have like friendly conversations on the job. So this doesn't have to be about sports. It could really apply to anything. But my point is that if you take a vested interest in your coworkers and what they're interested in, then they will take more interest in you as well. And it's always good to have something fun to talk about at work, right? Like, you don't want to talk about strictly just work related items 100% of the time. It's just, it leads to lower morale. Like, everybody has breaks, there's got to be fun stuff to talk about. So, yeah, root for their home team. If they're into sports, if they're into a certain TV series, if they're into a certain music, if you have any kind of interest whatsoever in what they're interested in, or maybe you'd like to learn more, then it's a great way to spark up a conversational topic with a coworker. And as a leader, this applies to the same thing with your employees. Showing that you have an interest in what they care about shows that you care about them a little more than maybe they thought you might. And I forgot to mention the book that influenced this maxim the most was The 360-Degree Leader. And for the first one, it was Strengths Based Leadership. Now I'm going to move on to my final maxim that I've chosen. And the main book that influenced this maxim was Emotional Intelligence 2.0. This was actually my favorite book out of all of them that I read this semester. So this maxim I call walk in the direction that your heart leads you. Your heart can lead you to many places. And sometimes when we go to work, we get so focused on business and numbers and financial metrics and just, things like that, that we forget about our hearts and our souls. And companies and organizations are made up of people with hearts and souls. And because of this, organizations have their own hearts and souls. There's culture at work, there's work culture, there's, there's more to an organization and a company than just sheer numbers, because if that's all there was to it, everything would be automated, everything would be run by robots, but it's not. People make up organizations. And I think this is the most important thing to remember in any business, and especially as a leader. You've got to remember to care about your people. Something that really influenced me, this also happened while I was working at Subway. A coworker of mine, an older woman, she got really sick and she kind of got down on her luck. She didn't have a lot of money in the first place. I mean, she was working at Subway. And she just had a lot of bad stuff going on. And when she got sick, it kind of put her in a rut. She was afraid she was going to get fired because she had to miss a lot of work. And I mean, she took a leave of absence, but she was still really worried about it. And like I said, she was just kind of financially down on her luck and stuff, and mentally as well. She was really getting upset about the entire situation. And so all of us, me and all my coworkers, we all came together and we all set up a donation pool for her to help pay for her medical bills and her rent and her utility bills. And we also sent her flowers and cards and things like that. And this woman who was so close to giving up and quitting, was just overwhelmed with emotion at her coworkers showing that, we cared about her. And that right there is what makes the heart and soul of an organization, because she was one of the best workers that Subway had probably ever seen. She was an extremely hard worker, and she came so close to giving up and just quitting because she couldn't handle everything that was going on in her life. But because we all banded together as a workforce and showed her that we cared, that gave her the courage to go on with that job, I guess, if that makes sense. And it all worked out in the end. There is a happy ending, but yeah, the point is that organizations do have a heart and a soul, and I think as a leader, it's probably more important to remember that than almost anything else. So, in conclusion, those are my three most important maxims that I've created over the course of the semester. I know this video went on a little bit longer than it probably needs to, but I hope I've expressed myself well enough to give y'all some insight on what I think is important when it comes to being a leader. Um, so yeah, I've had a great semester. I've really enjoyed this class, and I hope everybody else came up with some great ideas for their future leadership goals as well.